Tucker Carlson slammed Anthony Fauci as a total fraud after the top infectious disease expert's Friday testimony on Capitol Hill, with the Fox News host asserting that there is nothing Fauci won't opine on as long as it doesn't offend the popular and fashionable left. During the segment on his primetime show Friday night, Carlson played a heated exchange between Representative Jim Jordan and Fauci on Capitol Hill earlier in the day, with the two figures sparring over the possible spread of COVID-19 at mass protests. Fauci, a member of the White House I'm going to get demonetized. The virus task force noted there is a risk when crowds of people gather, prompting Jordan to press for a direct answer on protests specifically. So the protests don't increase the spread of the virus, Jordan asked. I didn't say that. You're putting words in my mouth, Fauci replied. I just want an answer to the question. Do the protests increase the spread of the virus? Jordan pressed. I can tell you that crowds are known, particularly when you don't have masks, to increase the acquisition and transmission, no matter what the crowd is. When asked if the government should limit protests as it has church gatherings, Fauci replied by saying he was not in a position to determine what the government could do in a forceful way. And they just go back and forth. Carlson responded to the back and forth in his show by lauding Jordan while declaring there is nothing Dr. Anthony Fauci won't opine on as long as it doesn't offend the popular and fashionable left. Fauci is 79, but maybe if he had like 22-year-old grandkids who were trying to make their way in this world, in an economy that is headed down the tubes, thanks largely to his recommendations, he would feel differently. Okay, this is where Carlson turns into a complete idiot. Listen, it's very justified to point out the possibility and the very high likelihood that those protests of people all being gathered on each other and not social distancing, and in even more extreme cases, not even wearing masks, it's very possible and a very legitimate critique to say those spread the virus around. But the whole point of shutting things down, even as we're hitting these different levels of unemployment, was to keep people away from each other. So he's trying to say that if Fauci had grandkids that were actually, he said, my age, that he would feel more comfortable with sending them to the workforce where they can acquire a deadly disease. But again, I don't like Jim Jordan. He's just another one of those Republican clowns. And I'm not a partisan person. I've talked about liking Rand Paul and Mike Lee and Thomas Massey, various people that are Republicans I have a problem with, Susan Collins. But when you have a person like that who is able to talk a little bit of sense, and then you ruin it by playing this game of your recommendations are making the economy so bad, and that's way more important than people being alive, you lose me. So again, Jordan had a pretty decent question of, do these protests spread the virus? And Carlson had a really dumb segment about Fauci somehow being wrong for making recommendations that are designed to save people's lives.